but let's go ahead and jump in. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Quick repeat, there's a QR code there. We'd love to direct as many questions during the webinar as possible to the front community. So that takes you to the community event there where there's a couple featured topics where you can post questions. We'll do the best we can to monitor during, but yeah, please engage there and hopefully this is informative and helpful. Quick intros, my name is Mike Hill. I'm on our product marketing team here at Front and excited to dig in on how Front's support team uses Front. So the star of the event today, my friend and colleague Luke Atkins is joining us today from our support team. He is a customer service representative, which means he is in the weeds dealing with, addressing customer questions. Hopefully, many of you may have interacted with him in the past, helping you, our customers, get and use Front to the best of its ability. So Luke, thanks so much for joining.
Cheers, Mike. Happy to be here.
Great. Let's go to the next slide. So like I said, we'll do our best. We have a Q&A portion at the end, but we've got a lot to cover in only half an hour here. So please post questions in either of the featured topics in the Front community page. We'll show this QR code again during the event, but please, you can scan it and or visit the community.front and you'll find the event under the events tab there. So again, thanks for joining and let's dig in to the contents. Luke, quick intro. Tell us about our support team real quick.
Thanks, Mike. Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here today. So as Mike said, I'm Luke. I've been with Front for a little under 3 years as a customer support representative from our support team. That means, as Mike said, I'm in the queue handling customer queries, so I may have even had the pleasure of communicating with many of you already in the past. A bit about our team. We are incredibly proud of our industry-leading CSAT scores. Across a good amount of volume with a relatively small team, we maintain a strong response time, and we use Front to its full collaboration ability to resolve most issues directly within our team. One big milestone, or a few milestones this year, we were able to hit 100% CSAT rating in 4 different months across 2023.
Super exciting. Yeah, and that hopefully is a testament to everything you see today. This is how they achieve such awesome results. So by the way, I posted a link to the specific space in the community in the chat as well, just so you can go there to ask questions. Thanks for somebody clarifying about the QR code. So quick agenda today, here's what we're going to cover. A lot of these are new customer support features that have come out in Front. We are doing a lot to address customers that have their customer support team on Front, and we want to make that a better experience. So the knowledge base, the chatbots in Front Chat that came out earlier this year, upcoming very soon are some really exciting AI features we'll cover, and then resolution analytics as part of our conversation stages feature, which I'll talk about as well. So let's go ahead and dive in. So the knowledge base, hopefully most of you have had a chance to explore the knowledge base feature. There's a little tab at the top of Front that takes you to the back end where you can set up your content, your portal, and publish a help center for your customers, partners, anybody to work with your business, learn about, and get the help they need. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the use cases we're seeing from other customers, and then I'll hand it over to Luke to do a deep dive in our process for Front support. But pretty straightforward for an external help center. A lot of customers is pretty straightforward, right? The goal is to help customers help themselves. So this is about publishing how-to guides, explanations about your product or service. We have a custom print manufacturer where customers place orders online. And so there's a lot of self-help that's needed to help them through that process of placing orders, adjusting designs, so that the manufacturer's team doesn't need to get involved, which is really valuable. The other piece, the other most common type of content we see is really about expectation setting. So think about the policies that influence the service your customers are expecting. To deliver a great service, you obviously need your customers to understand what to expect, and so you can meet or exceed their expectations. So a good example, we have a fulfillment center, a logistics company that publishes policies around timelines for pickup and delivery, and so customers aren't dissatisfied when things aren't done in the time that they were expecting. They kind of know what to expect going into the service. Now, knowledge base also in Front covers another use case. If you can go ahead and click, Luke. The internal use case. Now, this is something where you can change in the settings to have a knowledge base only be available to users up front. And this creates all sorts of new use cases, some of the most common around sensitive information. So if you have pricing, promotions, competitive differentiated information that you don't want to expose publicly, your team needs that in order to communicate with customers. And so it's a great way to publish that information and make it easily accessible right in line with your customer communication. And then another use case is obviously kind of an internal handbook of policies and guidelines. We have an accounting firm, for example, that maintains their handbook for just how to use front. So here's the SLAs that we expect our team to hit. Here's our tagging policies, or when you should add tags and create organization. And here's when you should escalate something to a manager or to another team. And so all of that is maintained and is sort of an internal knowledge base there and accessible in front. So hopefully you've been thinking about this and excited to dig in. I'm going to hand this over to Luke to show you how we use the knowledge base on our front support team.
Cheers, Mike. So some of you may have already visited Front's Help Center. Here we have over 500 articles across multiple layers of categories to make it easy for you and for our own team to find the information we need. Today, I thought it would be interesting to share a couple of elements from our day-to-day workflows in front support that help us manage responding efficiently to customer requests. Also with answers bolstered by the Help Center, as well as look at a small portion of our support category tagging system that identifies when articles are used in customer communications. This helps us to both track our knowledge base usage and identify when we might be missing an article or maybe an update to an existing article. I'll also use this demo to quickly highlight a couple of cool new tools in our knowledge base feature that I'm especially excited about. So we're going to jump right into Front Support Queue and give you a glimpse of what we get up to. Okay, so here we have an email request from our customer, Joe, who's looking for help organizing their emails within Front. Thankfully, I know of an article in our Help Center that covers this really well, so I'm going to send it over to Joe. I personally use a lot of keyboard shortcuts in my day-to-day work, so for me, drafting a response looks a little bit something like this. So we use Hi Joe. Now, I have my most used message templates configured in my personal preferences so that I can use the hotkey function to add my greeting. I'm going to make this a little bit nicer for Joe. All right. And now I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut to quickly open up my message templates window. You can find all these shortcuts over in the right-hand app switcher. And as I said, I use these constantly. So let's add my generic Help Center template. Going to use the keyboard shortcut to open up our message templates. And I'm going to grab my Help Center template. And then from there, I can access the Help Center articles with the help of something called the / command. Now, since Front's Help Center is hosted within the Front knowledge base feature, I can access the article I'm thinking of directly from my composer. And again, I'm doing this multiple times a day, so efficiency is key. So to get to my article, I'm going to hit /, and then I can see I have access to the templates and to the knowledge base and our scheduling links. Let's click A to filter it and enter. And I know that the article I'm looking for has the word tags in the title. So let's go ahead and search for tags. There it is. So I can click on this, and here I have the article that I was thinking of. Now I could also access these from these articles from the icon down here at the bottom, which gives me also access to the knowledge base. And we have a plugin over here on the right-hand app switcher as well. And we're good to go. So I can send that off now to Joe.
Hey, Luke, I just want to call one thing out and hopefully everyone sort of understood the goal there really is to show kind of how integrated Front's knowledge base is with Front. And so the fact that Luke was able to kind of put together, and he was explaining as he went, but like basically within 15, 20 seconds, he was able to pull together that reply. And so some of the like the / command and the icon is really one of the major benefits if you're using a different knowledge base. Every 5-10 seconds is a huge time saver, if you're drafting messages, and the type of volume that Luke does. So it's great to see kind of how he operates on a day-to-day basis.
For sure, yeah. And if I was clicking outside of front every time I needed something, we're doing this anywhere from 20 to 40 conversations a day. So it's a real time saver. Now, something interesting happened there is for those watching, the help center use tag was added via a rule. And this is a rule that we have set up here. And go ahead and have a look at it there. We have this rule set up to add this tag automatically whenever a message includes our knowledge base domain name in either the body of the message or what's known as the HTML body. And that second option allows us to use the hyperlink text, which makes them a little bit more readable within an email. About 25% of all of our support conversations get tagged with this help center use tag. And then we can use Front's analytics dashboard to track how often we're sending articles out to users. And then using a feature that we'll talk about later, the resolution analytics, we can even see that 25% of those conversations. So if we open up analytics here, I've got this set up with the tag filtered, we can see that 31% of those conversations on average, so around 30% on average, are getting resolved on the first reply. So that help center article is getting sent out, and that is enough to solve the issue for the customer. This is great data for our support team and for our education teams that shows areas where we can highlight these articles further and maybe help customers find the answers themselves. And we can also use this data, the opposite data, outside of those first resolved conversations where more back and forth was needed. And this can help indicate areas of possible improvement for our support operations team who monitor and maintain our knowledge-based content. As I mentioned earlier, speaking of improvements, there are a couple of cool ones that have been released recently. I'm going to show those to you quickly before we wrap up. So you can access your knowledge base on the back end over here with the knowledge base icon. And the first one I wanted to show you is we can now import existing knowledge bases from different platforms. So to do that, we click on the import button up here and then from URL. You see here that you can select the current knowledge base provider. So that could be Help Scout, Intercom, Zendesk. And this can be a big time saver if you already have the articles published and are looking to consolidate that information into Front's knowledge base. The other thing I wanted to show very quickly is within the articles themselves. So let's go ahead and open up Front 101. You can now see the version history of that article. So you can see the different edits and published versions of these articles, which really helps to go back and sort of track how your knowledge base is being kept up to date. Thank you so much for listening, and back over to you, Mike.
Thanks so much. And I think go ahead and you can hand it back to me if you want to stop sharing so I can share. But yeah, it's really exciting to see all of the new features coming out in knowledge base. Again, if you're thinking about kind of trying out Front's knowledge base and you already have Intercom, Help Scout, or Zendesk, that importer can take care of it in as little as 5 to 30 minutes, depending on how big your knowledge base is, and you can see how it might look. So it's a really nifty way to kind of get started. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on and share my screen here. All right. So just real quick, while we finish up the knowledge base section, talk about the roadmap that's coming up in a little bit. So one of the major features that we're working on, it should come out later this month or January, is the multi-language support for anyone out there who has a customer base or an external community that speaks with different languages. This is not translation, but this is about adapting to the language preferences of your customer without relying on Google Translate, which is not that reliable. So you can publish multiple languages in the same article, the same knowledge base, and it'll show the article or the language that the customer prefers based on their browser settings, computer settings, or whatever they have set as their preference. So multi-language support, really exciting to see that come out very soon. Another new feature maybe that I wanted to showcase, search and replace. Really simple thing, but it makes a big difference when you're editing articles. Finding a specific word, if you need to change the name of a product, a specific way you reference something, you can kind of search throughout an article to make sure you're thorough in how you manage and edit those articles. Other small pieces that are coming in either end of this quarter or in Q1 easily reordering articles, the ability to export out of front. We don't want you to feel restricted, or if you move to front that you can't sort of easily get out and move for whatever makes sense for your business to another solution. Some API improvements that are coming, and then obviously more analytics that'll be a big part of tracking how well articles are performing and helping you make improvements. So I know there's some questions coming in. We will do our best to address them at the end. I need to move on to chatbots here, but please post them in the community. If you go to front.community.com, there's an events page there where you can find some featured topics at the bottom to post replies. So chatbots. Front chat has been around a few years. Hopefully, some of you have made use of that chat functionality. But earlier this year, we launched Chatbots, which is a huge step function improvement in the chat experience. So I wanted to talk through some of the use cases that we're seeing to start with, even before maybe AI comes out to start automatically deflecting inquiries. We have a lot of customers that are already inserting knowledge base articles in key chatbot flows to actually resolve some of the most common issues that come up. And this is a very simple and straightforward flow. If you know the question that's coming in and you have a restricted and clear set of instructions that happens every time, you can plug that into a chatbot flow. So a mobile carrier, somebody always needs to reset their eSIM card, or they need to set up a new phone line. A knowledge base article can help them do that without taking up the team's time. The second piece, one of the biggest time savers with a chatbot, is really just asking the questions that your team is normally asking on a repeated basis. So by gathering more information, you're not asking customers to fill out a super long form, so the experience can be a little bit easier for them to manage and go through and collect that information. So for example, a short-term rental marketplace that uses front chat, they gather budget, check-in, check-out, number of bedrooms. These just information that the team needs to help them make a reservation, and it makes a big difference in that sort of time savings element for the team. The last piece, one of the biggest use cases of chatbots, is structure to conversations organization. So tags is a big part of this. So adding tags in different flows helps you keep track of topics that are coming in, helps you keep track of how you might route conversations. If something goes to billing, you can route based on the tag, or if it's a new inquiry, it might need to be routed to the sales team. So chatbots have a lot of different use cases, and that can create a lot of dynamic opportunities to use it. Last thing I'll say on this is that a lot of teams who don't want to use a live chat or set up a live chat team, or maybe don't have capacity, there are easy ways to set up this will follow up by email at the end of the chatbot, and so they set up the front chat experience without actually having a live chat customer service experience. And there are ways to make it really effective, and you could still take advantage of a lot of these deflection and fast resolution opportunities without having the real-time service from a live chat experience. So we use chatbots at Front, and so I'm excited for Luke to share a little bit about that experience and take a look at the back end. So handing it back to you, Luke.
Perfect. Thank you. Share my screen again. Okay. Okay, thank you. Hi again, everyone. So I'd like to show you a glimpse behind the scenes at Front Support's own chatbot workflow and highlight some of the ways that we have set up the Front chat experience. For anyone wondering, Front offers live chat support as part of our scale plan and above through the helps and tips and contact us icon up here. Here we are met with our chatbot, and they're going to start by offering us a selection of choices to ask why we're chatting in today. So this allows us to redirect certain queries for other teams, like billing or feature requests maybe, to their respective teams or processes, and that helps to reduce the volume on our team overall. Since we're here for support, let's go ahead and click support. We can see that same list is here, and if we follow the blue line next to support, we end up with the same multiple choice here that we're seeing. So here again, we're being given a variety of categories to choose from, and that's helping to narrow down the issue for the potential chat conversation ahead. So this, as Mike was just saying, this helps us to gather the necessary information when a customer reaches out to us via chat, but it also allows us to potentially resolve certain queries without needing to ever actually open up a live chat conversation with a support agent. Today, we're going to go into a little bit more in depth into one of the most valuable branches for us in terms of outreach volume from customers, service speed to customers, and time saved for our team, and that is deliverability. So let's go ahead and click on that one. And specifically sending messages. Sorry about the long scroll up here. It is a big one. And we can see that same list here, sending a message email. This is a common issue that Front support team handles day to day. As Front sits on top of lots of other channel providers, many issues can occur and generally have the same steps and processes to resolve them every time. And often there's not really anything that we as the support team in Front can do about it, as they are external channels. So everything starts with an error code. If you try to send a message in Front and you get an error, it's immediately obvious and visible. However, there are hundreds of possible error codes. So listing them all out in a multiple choice like this would be ungainly, unusable. So here I'm going to close down the actual chat widget, and we're going to follow in the back end the sending a message / email up to this node here. So if somebody reaches out and lets us know that they're having trouble sending a message, we'll initially ask them for the name and the email address of the inbox, and then we'll ask them to provide us with an error message that is being displayed. And as we said, we cannot list a full list, so we use a really powerful feature of Front's chatbot, which is keyword branching. And we've been able to group together many common elements from a large list of potential error messages into a small collection of keyword sets. And these identify the keywords in the error messages that the chat user provides, and then we can branch off to the various paths that you're seeing here. The two that we see the most, the two groups of errors, they are the top two here. So the first is revoke and reauthorize. Now, when somebody is receiving that error, this is a great example of a deflection for our team. We essentially share a help center article with them about reauthorizing their channel. And this can either close out the chat if that has resolved it for them, or if they're still having any issues, then they can click no, and it will open up a live chat with our team. Excuse me, sorry. The second group of errors that we see the most often are bouncing suppression errors here that you can see. These are a great time saver for our team. They have to come through to us to be resolved, but this eliminates a lot of the repetitive back and forth that we have with the user, gathering the information needed for us to resolve the issue. It's like message IDs, email addresses, etc. So the chatbot takes it through exactly that same repetitive list of questions, and then we use the chatbot to tag with a suppression list issue, and it will remain open for our team to get involved. Each of us can easily find ourselves getting a few of these every single day, and each reply takes a minute or two. So we're talking about a couple of lost hours across the team every week being won back just by this one line on the chatbot flow. And this chatbot, thanks to the efforts of our support operations team, currently contains 72 potential endpoints that can be come to. Now back to these tags. When we are using these, the way that we're using these tags, as I mentioned, our support category tagging system before, we use these tags to look at themes, topics, categories, and then we identify, in this particular case, how they can be linked to help center articles as well, and even for this chatbot to track the deflection. As with the knowledge base, we can use these tags in the analytics dashboard to track this ongoing deflection. Over the last 2 months since this version of the chatbot was put in place, our team received over 1,100 chat conversations. And of that 1,100, let's go ahead and open it up here. Of that 1,100 conversations, 24% of them were deflected using this chatbot workflow. So we can then also use the tags to further track and identify trends towards our chats, across our chats, sorry, and towards other support inboxes. So from this point here, we're seeing that this one involves the chatbot deflection. But if we combine that information, say with the suppression list tag from the other inboxes, we're able to identify that certain trends are happening. What happened in the case of the suppression list is over the last few months, the last quarter, we saw an increase, a steady increase of suppression list issues. And what this was able to help us essentially highlight it and work towards a solution to bypass essentially and come to a better solution for customers. So if we increase this date range now to say end of November, which is when we started improving this process, we're able to immediately start seeing the results of this tracking downwards. And it's looking like the same will happen this month in December. So I'm going to finish out this
Such an
demo.
awesome trend to see. I was just going to say,
Yeah.
Luke, that it's great to see
Mike.
kind of how you can apply tags in organizations to start improving sort of bottlenecks in your process. It could be other parts of your business or your customer support, your communication workflows. That's a great example here. So anyway,
Yeah,
thanks so much,
sure.
Luke. Yeah, continue.
For sure. No worries. I'm just going to quickly end the same way we did earlier, which is just highlighting a couple of cool new features as well in the chatbot. So the first one, if we head back to our chatbot settings here, it's now possible for admins to preview their chat widget directly from their chat channel settings. So this removes the need for you to open up the widget on a dummy site or an external URL. To get there, when we're in the settings of the channel, so let's go through to this channel settings. Up here in the right hand side, you can see preview chat widget, and that will actually open up an external window with
Luke,
a chat widget here. Yeah.
We are running a little out of time here. We've only got a couple minutes left. So
Okay.
let's go ahead and go back to the slides. I want to address a couple small pieces here in the last couple minutes. Sorry to cut that off for everybody. It's
not at
great
all.
and interesting. Yeah, let's go to the next slide here real quick. I'll address it in another minute. Some chatbot improvements that are coming, chatbot analytics. So we'll post about that in the community, and you'll see some of the metrics that are coming out around number of flow conversations coming in, how many chats are being resolved, at what pace. We're also working on some reusable subflows, so you don't have to recreate nodes for every time you want to create a new segment of your chatbot. So a lot of interesting and exciting improvements coming out. Let's go to the AI section real quick. Oh, and there is a chatbot AMA. Keep going. That's okay. I'll just mention it. There's a chatbot AMA coming out this Thursday. So if you go to the front community, next slide, Luke. If you go to the front community, you'll see the chatbot AMA. Our product manager is going to be answering specific questions about chatbots. So please, any and all questions, go to the front community. Last piece here, preparing for AI. So we have a beta coming out likely in January. Email me if you want to join the waitlist for this. This is about basically responding automatically with natural language responses to customer inquiries. So setting up your front chat channel, getting your chatbot live, building out your knowledge base are all requirements to be able to use AI. So it's a great motivator to start getting set up there. And so you're ready to start testing AI and get huge time savings from that opportunity. Let's jump ahead to resolution analytics real quick. I'm just going to cover this real quick. Next slide. So our customer service team, as you'll see, we've got a lot of opportunities recently as we start rolling out resolution times to resolution, replies to resolution, I should say, and first resolved on first reply are big things that we track on the customer service team. You can go to conversation stages in analytics and front analytics. There's a menu option on the left side. That's where you can enable front analytics, specifically resolution metrics for any of your inboxes. It's a pretty straightforward process, and you can go ahead and get started today with that if you're on the latest plan. Reach out if you don't see it. We can help you figure out what plan access is needed to make that happen. And then last piece, we're over time, but I'll just mention next slide. We will be able to customize resolution metrics coming towards the end of the quarter. So using the existing workflows, you can say VIP customers, when you apply, get resolved, or you need a different review process before a conversation gets resolved for other customers. And so there's all sorts of exciting things you can use our existing workflows to actually customize when something gets resolved. So a lot of exciting things coming. We adapted here, a lot of content we wanted to show, but hopefully this was super interesting. You got to see in depth how we use our knowledge base, our chatbot, and really excited. Hopefully folks are interested in AI. Send me an email about the beta, and thank you all so much for joining. Luke, any final words?
No, same as Mike. Thank you so much for joining. I hope it was interesting, and please don't hesitate to reach out to us if there are any other questions or anything else we can help with. That's what we're here for.
Thanks so much. You'll see Luke in the queue, and have a great day, everybody.
Bye, everyone.